Hi everyone, it's Courtney. I'm here in my little book nook for a shorter video. I said I would start talking about some of my young adult books that I have. That will be in my next video. This is a video to talk about my newest book that just came out. So here it is. It is called Blood Embrace, a Vampire's Saga, written by me. So this is not a part of my Heartsong romance series that I have been writing. It's, of course, another story that I started working on a long time ago. I actually wrote it back when I was in high school. So I decided to take it and add a little bit to it and change a little bit of what it was when I wrote it. It was just, just a story about vampires. And when I started writing my Heartsong, like romance novels, some people asked me if it was like the really kind of like hardcore kind of romance, like erotic romance fiction. And I said that it wasn't. And they said, well, maybe if you advertised it as that, people would buy it. And it's like, well, that's not exactly what the Heartsong books are about. They're about, romance, about, love, and it's not just, love between like a man and wife. It's like, love between friends and family, and so. But I decided, well, maybe I will write something that's a little more hardcore romance and, a little bit more, I guess, erotic kind of fiction. And what better thing to write about than vampires? So I love vampires. As you can tell, I talked about Twilight, and I've talked about a couple of other books, that are about vampires, of course, and I like Anne Rice, and Salem's Lot by Stephen King is a book about vampires, and it's one of my favorites. So I've always, liked vampires. So what would be better than to write a erotic book about vampires? So this is Blood Embraced. It actually has many sources from like other vampire stories that I wrote, so it's kind of like 3 vampire stories that I wrote in one full story. So and of course I designed the cover myself. It took me a long while to find an image that I liked, and it's just a gate with this this image here that it has these dark wings, and I just thought it looked very gothic and very vampire-like. So, and the way I designed it, of course, it just has the title up here and the design, and it doesn't have my name on the front, but it does have it on the side. I had to change the font from this kind of font to something else because it wasn't fitting in the margins that I was allowed. And then, of course, the back of it has a picture here of me that I took myself. But I filtered it black and white, and if you get a copy of my book and you look really close in the background, you can see a door because I took the picture myself. But it's also the first time that I've ever had to write an author biography about myself. So, of course, I put that I'm the author of the Heartsong Saga, a romantic book series. Born in Kentucky, living in Indiana, and I'm a fan of romance, horror, and fantasy literature. So, to kind of give you an idea of things that I write about. So, of course, I, have, of course, my little thing about it on the back. but the main character in the book is a vampire. His name is Stefan Bradasi. So, name that I made up, the last name, not the first one. So, and I picked the name Stefan a long time ago, even before, even reading, L.J. Smith's Vampire Diaries, and then, of course, the show on the CW has a main vampire named Stefan, however you want to pronounce it. But he's posing as a writer named Stephen Bridgeton, and he is, of course, a vampire, but the people who know him don't know that. But his publisher tells him that his novels that he writes psychological thriller novels where they have overtly sexual themes, and mostly they're very misogynistic towards women, and a lot of female readers don't like it. So his publisher tells him that he needs to write a new book that will appeal to a female audience, and so he decides that he is going to write the story of his life. So, yeah, basically, I guess it could be a vampire diary where he goes and tells how he became a vampire, and he actually gets turned into a vampire by a woman named Nalara, who is his fiance, and she gets attacked by a vampire. She gets turned into one, and she turns Stefan into one. So the first part of the book kind of chronicles Stefan becoming a vampire, and him and Lara going through the centuries where they make other vampires as part of their family. And then most of the main story takes place in the year 2000 in New York City, where he recounts a tale of finding a new human victim, and ends up falling in love with her, and it spews off into tangents that affect the other vampires in his clan and humans around him, and pretty soon the vampire world that he lives in is going to be threatened by things that happen, and it also and then of course I have it rated as a mature book for people over 18, and I do have it classified as erotic fiction, because there are parts of it where I kind of, there's a little bit of kind of graphic detail about stuff. I wouldn't say that it's as maybe as graphic as Anne Rice's Sleeping Beauty, quadrilogy, but maybe just a little bit more than 50 Shades of Grey. I mean, I don't want it to be like too graphic, like it's like considered like smut or something, because it's not. It's just, vampires are very, erotic, sexual beings, and that's just, when, they have to, suck blood and, like vampires do in order to feed. That's kind of how they get their sexual thrill. So it also kind of goes into my own version of how vampires are in this world, and things they can do and things they can't do. So, because I don't want to go into too much detail about it. But and the book, of course, I always make sure they're large print, just because sometimes when I get like books, the font's like really small in some of these paperbacks, and you feel like you're straining to read it. So, but of course, all the books usually come about in this 6:9 measurement, but I always have them in large print so that you can read them. I do have some spelling mistakes in my book, because when I brought it up to get the Kindle version, which, by the way, you can get it in paperback or you can get it in Kindle copy. I forgot how much it is for a paperback copy, but of course, it's $2.99 for a Kindle book, and most of my books, they're always different prices. I think it goes on what kind of cover you have, whether it's glossy or a matte finish, what kind of paper you use. You use stark white or cream. So I can't remember exactly how much the book was. Shows you how good I am at this, aren't I? But the book, when it was printed, it says it's 317 pages, but the last bit of dialogue actually ends on page 315. So technically it's 315 pages long. So, and of course I never really had anything in front of these stories, so it just automatically goes, into the story proper with a prologue and then chapters and then of course an epilogue. So, but I guess if you'll permit me, I will just go ahead and read the back of my book, because it explains it a little bit better. I'm always better at writing stuff than I am talking about it, but since I wrote this and I'm reading it, Stefan Rogassi is struggling to come up with a new novel under his pen name Stefan Bridgeton. His publisher wants something new and exciting, something very personal in spite of his past stories of psychological thrills and sexual themes. The time has come for Stefan to share his story, a story centuries in the making, a tale of love, life, loss, pleasure, and pain that no human could imagine. Only a vampire can know what it is like to be embraced in blood and flesh, to endure an eternal hunger. Stefan is finally ready to reveal his darkest secrets and deepest desires. Are you prepared to hear them? So this, of course, is my new adult novel, Blood Embraced, a Vampire Saga. So, if anyone is interested in vampires or erotic fiction, there's also a touch of just regular kind of romance. So, of course, there's always going to be a touch of romance. It's what I'm good at. So it's an adult erotic fiction book with, of course, horror and romance elements, and it is now available on Amazon in paperback or Kindle. So, if romance is not your thing, and you want something a little darker and heavy-handed, a little bit more horror tinge to it, then I think that you will enjoy Blood Embrace. And if not, you can always give it a try. And because I've been to Goodwill's and seen some of these books, self-published books. I guess somebody gave a copy to a friend, they read it, decided they didn't like it, and wanted to, get rid of it. But as the saying goes, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Of course, this isn't trash. I wouldn't put it out there if I didn't think somebody would enjoy it. So, this is my new book, I'm Courtney Grunholz, and from my book nook, I will see you all next time, and until I do see you all next time, have a good day.